What up, you booshes? Give me that coffee. Give me that coffee, bish. Drinking coffee. Making sick fucking gains. What? Drinking coffee. Making sick fucking gains. What? Drinking coffee. Making sick of fucking gains. What? Coffee. Coffee. Caffeinate me, bruh. Coffee. Sick fucking gains. What? Coffee. 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 Cafecito Papa Swole. Coffee. 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 A plus B equals sick fucking gains, bro.
The sun is shining. The birds are chirping. The bacon is sizzling.
Is a sizzling.
Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing. A test equals. Oh, welcome everyone to episode 1077 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular Swolecast, Beercast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleevescast, and as a Slaycast, in as a realm. Because we're not flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Que paso, ya beaches? What's up, boosh? What's up, ya fucking horse? You swole sluts. Welcome to the Sleeves. Welcome to episode 1077. We're going to talk about some stubborn muscles today, so take a moment right now, drop in the comments below, what are those stubborn body parts for you? And we can talk some strategies on breaking through some of those plateaus and getting you past some of those ruts that you are stuck in. So thank you for joining me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, wherever you follow Daddy Swolio. And just a reminder for those of you that like the podcast, make sure you subscribe to this podcast, but also make sure you subscribe to my other podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the Swolenormous audio experience as well for some more behind the scenes and some more awesome shit that relates to a lot of the stuff that I do every day. So we talk training, we talk nutrition. It's all sorts of stuff. It's everything. It's a smorgasbord of Swolenormous. So if you like this and you want more, go and check out the audio experience. You get lots of things and everything and anything audio gets posted there. So go check it out. Ready to take notes? Oh, taking notes. Who takes notes? You take notes? Forearms, upper chest. Let's see. Calves. That's pretty much what we're going to talk about today. Forearms and calves. That's pretty much what's stubborn for 99% of people. What usually happens, let's just jump right into it. What usually happens with stubborn body parts is, one, you're not activating the muscles properly. So even though you go and you think you're doing exercises for a part of your shoulder or your forearms or your calves, you're actually not getting the entire muscle to work. So you're actually just kind of doing the same thing over and over again, and you're working within a range or within a capacity that the muscle can handle. So how does a muscle grow? It grows when there is overload and when there is progressive overload. There is a progressive approach to your resistance training. You're increasing the weight, you're increasing the range, you're increasing the volume, you're increasing the frequency. Whatever those things are, you are changing the structure of your activity. If you're doing a muscle once a week, training it harder once a week isn't necessarily going to be enough. Some of these things actually need more frequency. Some of these muscles actually are exposed to more frequent stress and they are used to it. So some of these muscles need more attention. And that's where a lot of people fundamentally just miss the boat. They don't recognize which areas just need more attention. And some of those areas are specifically calves, forearms. They don't need once a week. They're probably going to need 2, 3, 4, 5 days a week in some capacity. It doesn't mean you're doing the same thing every day. It doesn't mean you're training for half an hour. You know, you're not doing tons of volume every day, but frequency is what a lot of people fall off on. They don't play enough with frequency and volume, and that can really go for any body part. So I'm happy to talk about specifics and go into that in more depth. But that's the basic, like really, you don't want to, I guess, overload your brain with too much information and too many thoughts about it, because you can talk about this in many different ways, but in reality, you're playing with frequency and volume. Some of these things have to do with form, and most people have poor posture. So you have to fix what ails you. You have to fix your alignment. You have to fix your dynamic and static posture and make sure that you're actually hitting the muscles when you're doing the exercise. Those muscles are going to be turning on, like your brain. You have that coordination, you have that connection between your brain and your musculature that's triggering the full impact, or that's actually getting into all the fibers. You're actually getting the most out of that muscle, and you have the balance in the joint so that muscle is working when you're trying to work it. And then it's about the resistance, then it's about the rest periods, then it's about the volume, then it's about all those different things, right? So it has to start somewhere. And that's why we're so big here on mobility and yoga, because if you have an imbalance, if your shoulders are rounded in, if you have, let's say, limitations in your, think about where people mostly have limitations. A lot of people want to work their glutes. My butt doesn't grow, or my calves don't grow, my forearms don't grow. Those are common areas where you have big time imbalances. The forearms are only using certain movements all the time. So you overload certain areas, you tend to get tendonitis. You tend to get overload on the flexors rather than the extensors. And if you have an imbalanced joint, it's going to affect the growth and the activation of the muscles on the other side of the joint, the opposing muscle groups, also known as the antagonist muscles. So when there's a muscular, or there's an imbalance between tension on different parts of the joint, is going to inhibit your body's ability to activate those other muscles. It's not so simple, oh, this is smaller, let me hit it. Well, if there's a big time imbalance, then your body will compensate around that weaker muscle. It's a priority for your body to get the movement accomplished. Your body's number one is going to get the movement. Whatever you're trying to do, your body's priority is to get the movement accomplished. If you're trying to put something on a shelf, your body's going to get that up onto the shelf, whether you have to arch your back, whether you have to go on your tippy toes. Your body wants to get that from point A to point B. That's the goal. How your body moves within that goal is going to come down to what is the path of least resistance. And if your body has a lot of resistance, if you have weaker muscles that aren't activated and you have improper joint alignment, that's going to be a lot of resistance to try to fight through that. Your body is going to compensate and maybe arch your back more, or it's going to twist or rotate rather than get that mobility from the joint, because it's going to be more resistance to try to fix that problem in the moment that it can. Maybe there's scar tissue, maybe there's a huge imbalance in muscle tension, but your body will compensate. It'll move around, it'll detour. So rather than drive through the construction site where there's just it's all a mess, there's no road, you would just blow your car out, you would just destroy your car. You take a right, you go around the site. So that's the path of least resistance, and that's what your body's going to do. Your body's going to detour. So fundamentally, we need to make sure your body isn't detouring, and then once you're not detouring, then we can work on actually what's going to be best with frequency. And that's going to differ from person to person, but most of the time, those smaller, more endurance-based muscle groups like the forearms, like the calves, those are going to be more frequency and volume, but you have to build up to that. You just don't want to go crushing them every day. You're going to be crippled sore, but we have to get that full range of motion. We have to get that balance around the joint first before you start going and just hammering it all the time. And most people don't do full range for calves. They just go up onto the balls of their foot. They just kind of do a short range or a short pulse, or they do it too fast. They don't go up onto their tippy toes like a ballerina. They don't get that full plantar flexion. They're wearing shoes. You have arch supports. Your heels are elevated, so your Achilles tendon is shortened all the time. You don't have that full length of even capacity to get the full belly of the muscle. So most people are just fundamentally posturally fucked, and they're trying to build a muscle like in a handicapped situation. Your muscle is not in an advantageous position to even execute these exercises and to get the full benefits. And you're just you're working from behind, a few steps back. You're working with a handicap. You're working from behind. You're trying to catch up, and you're fundamentally not paying attention to how your body is aligned to begin with. But that's where the yoga and the mobility stuff really helps. That's why this corrective exercise approach is so effective, because you fix these problems, which allows you to have more strength, which allows you to activate these muscles. And when you do the exercises to target them, you're getting more out of them. That's a huge way that's a big mind shift for many of you. It's not just about going and doing more. It's about doing it right and then being consistent with that and then building upon those principles of frequency and volume and resistance and different angles. But you have to have those muscles working and you have to have the right idea of how you're working them to begin with. Let's see. I can't even work out right now. I just like hearing you. That's cool. That's cool. It's all good. My calves are pretty big since I played softball for about 10 years. I can say confidently that I have no idea how that gives you big calf muscles. I played baseball how does that affect anything? I don't think that has any direct correlation whatsoever for softball. That's genetic. A lot of that's genetic. You know, some people just have bigger calf muscles naturally. And it's one of those things where everyone walks, right? Everyone walks. Not everyone does bicep curls. So no one has just naturally massive biceps because it's not something that gets stressed all the time. But calves get action. Everyone's walking, and some people just genetically have bigger, thicker calf muscles. And you know those people that just naturally have bigger calf muscles or better shape, just natural development. And that's a genetic thing. Got the muscle and beard gains going. I hear that. I hear that. I feel that. I started Ashtanga yoga 3 weeks ago to improve my mobility. I'm exhausted and knocked out after the class is much more than my regular 5 days of calisthenics training. Good. It's good shit. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So what do we got here? Let's see. Any other? Is that it? Is that it? Is that it? Are we done? Are we done for the day? Almost. We kind of covered the topic already. What's a stubborn muscle group for you? I saw chest, like upper chest. Again, upper chest, it's about alignment. It's about posture. It's about making sure those muscles on the back of your body, of the shoulder girdle that are stabilizing the scapula, the rhomboids, and your middle and lower traps are retracting properly, are activated. That way your shoulder is not rounded forward. You might have heard of this as upper cross syndrome. It's just this internal rotation and protraction of the scapula and of the shoulder joint, the girdle and the joint together, that kind of create this fruit roll-up effect when you're internally rotated. And that can put your shoulder at a risky position for having friction, and it puts the rotator cuff at risk because it's aligned improperly, and there's different stresses that can lead to injuries and tears and frictions and inflammation and so forth. And also when it comes to activation of muscles that are at a shorter length than they would normally be, they're not opening up enough. You're not able to trigger them. And that's a downside to having a compensation. That's a downside to having improper posture and having misalignments. It's because the muscles from the starting point, your body's biased. That's essentially what's happening, is your body is biasing its actions more towards certain muscles and more towards certain things working that shouldn't be working. You don't want your body biasing towards a detour. That same analogy I used earlier about having a detour, detouring around a construction site, the point or the path of least resistance, that's a natural function. You pour water down a hill, it's going to go around rocks, it's going to go through valleys. The water is going to naturally go where there's less resistance, and your body is going to do the same thing. However, you don't want your body to go around you don't want your body to detour if you can help it. You'll get more positive benefits by not having to detour. Now, it's great that your body will detour. That's how we avoid injury. That's how we get things done. Even if we have an injury, that's how we're able to still walk. Even with a bad leg, we can limp. Your body works around. It's just not a good thing to perpetuate, because then your body is using different muscles over and over again, and it gets used to using those, and then it'll stop using the ones it's supposed to. So then you start using muscles that are more like assistants. You start using more of these helper muscles. You start using that detour primarily. And this is where a lot of people are stuck. So you take that detour one time, let's say, ow, you banged your shoulder and like, oh, my arm hurts. So you reach up with your right arm. Okay. Let's say you're a lefty and you bang your arm So you just reach up with your right because your left arm hurts, and it's like, oh, dead arm, you banged your elbow. But let's say you have a shoulder, let's say that hurts for a few days. So you end up using your right arm more than normal. But then after that swelling goes down, the habit kind of has formed and you're starting to use your right arm more than you normally would have. And then you start getting more of like an imbalance. Your right arm, the way you twist, you start using one arm more dominantly than the other. And then your body composition and your coordination kind of changes and your movements start changing. Or you'll start using your lower back because you're sitting down so often, your glutes shut down activity and your body loses its ability to coordinate the glutes. So it makes it harder for you to work your glutes during squat sessions. You start feeling it more in your hamstrings. You start feeling more tension in your lower back. Your body starts arching the lower back to compensate for the lack of glute activity for hip extension. So when you're trying to do a squat or you're doing a kickback, you're using your lower back more than your glutes. And this can compound over time and lead towards chronic back pain or a hamstring tightness or a hamstring injury because your glutes are not taking control as they should. And there are many, many, many examples of a movement impairment or a movement compensation, but your body will still execute these movements. That's the fascinating part, and that's the amazing evolutionary adaptation component of the body. Your body will get better. Your body will figure it out. Your body will go around these detours. Your body will use these detours. Your body will use these compensations. Your body will use these methods of executing the goal, of executing the movement, of executing the pathway, the exercise. Your body will get it done. You'll put it up on the shelf. You'll do the squat. However, are you feeling it and are you using the muscles that you should be using that would provide you with more strength output, that would provide you with more muscle breakdown, more overload? You'll be able to squat more so you can overload your body more so you can build more muscle, right, in the long term. Are you using the glutes or the hamstrings more? Are you using your calves completely, or are you limited because your anterior tibialis is weak and your foot musculature is weak? Are you getting full range, or can you not get full range because your Achilles is too tight, so you're not able to stretch the muscle completely? There are many different aspects to this, and I know I'm throwing a lot of stuff out there, but I want to try to hit something and throw a dart at something that, that makes sense for me. And it's very, very common because most of us have things that we do all the time. Most of us have things that we do all the time. They're called repetitive movements. And repetitive movement often gets mistaken for things that you actively do. Repetitive movement can be sitting down. It's a repetitive lack of movement. It's a repetitive position. In other words, what is something that you do or don't do all the time? Your hips are in a flex position, okay? So you're sitting down. Your knees are in a flex position because your knees are bent, right? Your heels are elevated because you're wearing heels or high heels or sneakers. Your arch is supported. Your arms are protracted, your shoulders are protracted, your shoulder girdle, your scapula, your arms are internally rotated because you're driving or you're at a computer, you're at a desk, you're hunched over and your upper back is in flexion and your neck is in extension because you're texting or you're looking at a computer and you don't have proper alignment. What are you doing all the time? What are you doing for extended periods of time every day that is compounding tightness, that is compounding this imbalance that can affect you for some of these stubborn muscle groups? And it's not always the case there's an imbalance. It could just be a training component, but this is before you worry about how often. Most people just come up, hey man, what should I do? Should I train this more often? Should I do more weight? Should I do more of this? This factors in first. This is the beginning portion. This is making sure that you're fucking in the right position to do it, period. And then when you're able to go through the proper motion, when you're able to do the exercise properly and activate and trigger the muscles, then you can have that conversation and play around and trial and error with frequency and volume. But a lot of you need to experiment with these different things. Don't think because you've never done calves 5 or 6 days a week that won't work. It really, really works for a lot of people. That's what's most effective for me. That's what's most effective when I do it with more volume, but you build up to that. I find more benefit by doing it more frequently. That's one of the harder areas for me to grow, and it's been taking a long time for me to build up. It's just genetics. But I have hacked it by poking around with different exercise, by doing different movements, by focusing on the balance and the stability, by working on them with more volume, with more frequency, and getting them used to more overload overall. And it's something that you have to actually put into practice because some people, as you know, they can get away with training them from a visual standpoint once a week, and they just have naturally big calves. Or some people, oh, I never trained my calves. I used to walk around on my tippy toes when I was a kid. Okay. Weird. However, it makes sense. Some people just have naturally long tendons and small little tiny calf muscles, right behind the kneecap. You can't change that. That's genetics. You're not going to be able to get big, fat, meaty calves if you have a short muscle belly. It's just there's genetics at play with how the body can fully function, right? Like when you flex, do you have a big full bicep towards the joint, or do you have a shorter one that kind of balls up? Genetics. You can't choose everything that you have. You can't change everything. You can't out-train certain aspects of your genetics, certain aspects. But most people don't max out any one direction, and they don't fully see what their potential is because they think they rest on the laurels of, oh, it's just genetics. I'm never going to get that. Well, you haven't really tried everything 100%. I guarantee it. So you can't really say that you can't make progress. It's more about maximizing and maxing out your genetics and what your potential is, more so than changing your genetics and doing it a certain way to look like someone else's. That's why it's hard to compare, and you shouldn't compare because, for example, everyone's abs look different. When you have more definition, when you have less body fat around your stomach, some people have one big blocky ab, like 4. Some people have when I get super lean, I'll have 8 or 10 or 12, like the bottom ones. I have like the pack, and I have the little ones at the top. Some people don't. They have just 6. And I mean, everyone's different. Everyone's different with how that muscle breakdown and how that tendinous overlapping in the abdominal section works and looks. And you can't change that. Have I always been muscular? And I have to work out. So I've always been like this. I've always been fucking jacked. I was average, like thin. I didn't have the muscle, and then I built the muscle. They're building a castle now. They weren't doing this earlier, just right when I do the show, of course. At the gym a little while ago, and I accidentally put different weights on each end of the barbell and was going to do a fitness class like that. Fitness class. Ooh, fun. I have tennis elbow right now and notice my left arm is getting stronger trying to compensate. Well, you can't work around that because it's not going to go away. And when the pain goes away, it's just going to come back because you have to fix the issue. So I would look into a TheraBar and training your extensors eccentrically, as that will help tremendously with forearm imbalances and pain. It'll make it go away for sure. I shouldn't say for sure, but everyone that does it, it's like 100% success in my personal experience. I had a pelvic injury, and then I started doing exercises that were standing and started to get knee problems. Yeah, anytime you have issues with the hip and the hips are out of alignment, when you have excessive like pelvic tilt, anterior tilt, you're going to have, that means the hips are not as stable. That means the hips are not as aligned, and that makes it risky for the knees. Started yoga because of your advice. There we go. Look at everyone. Everyone's talking about yoga. Good for you. It's the big yoga movement here. Best yoga for joints, all of it, any of it. Just start. 47 and need it. Just start. Go to a yoga class. Just start. Best yoga. Don't worry about it. Go. Just don't go do like a power yoga class for like a high level. Go to an all-level beginner class or look it up online. Or you could join Swolenormous X. We have a full yoga studio. You could check that out. 24/7, you can access every single class that's uploaded. My roof is being worked on, so I feel your annoyance. It comes and goes. It's okay. I used to try to avoid it, but I can't. I can't run my life around when they want to just dig outside the window. Sometimes it's early. This whole day, it was fine. I'm like, okay, they're not working today. They're not over here in this section. All of a sudden, I go live. Why now? It was fine for like 7 hours. It was fine. We did the master class. It was fine. It was so fine. It was totally cool. Love the Swolga. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. We got that new, like I said, the brand new, I'm branching that off. That Swolga section is going to have that separate section. That's this weekend, going to have that launch. Super cool. I gotta crack my neck. You ready for this? Let's see if it. Ooh, other side. Heyo. Ah, ugh. Yeah, yoga and meditation both are awesome. And of course, you're practicing those separately, but then you get to the point where your meditation, you're carrying that through your day. So you can use that. It's all about the breath. And when you really lock that down, combine that with yoga, woo, Jules on the fire. And you could check out so many of those meditation apps and stuff like that online. Fantastic. Don't miss it. I'm telling you, will help you big time with your life and with your approach and with your stress management. Big time. For ladies who don't work out on that time of the month, I'm doing legs no excuses. I've heard working out actually helps with that. Is that true? Never understood why they don't work out on their periods. I've heard women are usually stronger on their periods because of the hormones and shit. What do you mean branching out with yoga? Did I say branching out? I don't even know what I mean by that. Just do yoga. How about that? I'll simplify whatever you think I said or whatever I did say. Do yoga. Let's see. Awesome. So let's see. On YouTube, I dropped a new YouTube video. I'm doing, and I'll reiterate this again, depending on what a lot of you found, there's so much stuff that I have to post. So I'm doing a lot of cool stuff on YouTube. There's going to be I think it's going to be a new Ask Papa Swolio tomorrow or a new Nuts on Chin or DWG. I'm not sure. It's Friday, so it's going to be fun. But there's so much content that I have to post, and I'm posting all sorts of things over on YouTube. So if you didn't check out today's post, it's kind of like a raw vlog that you can check out. I think you'll really like it. It's about social media. It talks about my training for the day. So there's going to be those sprinkled in too to give you some more insights. I don't pander to anyone or any type of content. So if you're only following me for me like to rage on things, then you might be so disappointed. There's not that much rage in the world, and not everything. I don't care about anything that I'm talking about that I rage about. I don't really fucking care. I do, but I don't. So you'll see all sorts of things on the channel. So make sure you tune in because you never know what's going to come up next. Could be a DWG. Got a few coming. Got some rage for you. Those are so much fun to do. Those are so much fun. Can't wait to drop some more of those. But anyway, new YouTube video. Go check it out. Swolenormous. You like it? Do you like it? I find punching things works too. Funny. And we got the whole period crew. Everyone talking about their cramps and stuff. I get it. I don't get it. I have no idea what it's like. That would suck. I'm so glad I'm a dude. I don't have to bleed every month. That's fucking brutal. That's brutal. That goes without saying. It's so much easier to be a dude. It's so much easier. Just in general. It's easier, it's different, but I mean, I think a lot of you gotta deal with what you gotta deal with, but that sucks. Coming from someone who like rarely, if ever, gets sick, it's like, ugh, like you can't avoid it. I'll tell you what though, from a lot of women, especially those of you that are the women that are in Swolenormous X, when you go through the elimination, you really lock down your nutrition and you're eating super quality foods. Most people are reporting lesser, I guess, impactful or hardcore periods. Your menstrual cramps go down and your emotional swings and those kind of things. Most people report that it's diminished or it's gotten a lot better, which is really fucking cool. Which is really cool. Yeah, I'm not here to brag that I'm not a woman, but I'm grateful that I'm not bleeding every month. Fuck. I'm telling you, like I guess I empathize. Like I don't even know I don't even know what that feels like to be. Like I can't say I feel your pain because I don't. Didn't they have those things where it's kind of like the ab belts, right? They put it on a bunch of dudes, so dudes felt like what it was like to be pregnant. You can't really, that's the thing. You can't simulate it. Or to have a period. You can't simulate it. You can electrocute. You can't really simulate it. It's a whole different thing. But I think they've done videos and they've done things on that. It's pretty funny. Yeah, we got balls hanging down that you have to like be careful with all the time. Like, hey, let's leave them exposed. This is your only means of reproduction. It's really, really sensitive. Let's dangle it down. It's weird. If you get pregnant, you don't bleed every month. Yeah, but then you got to deal with the consequences for the rest of your life. So there's that. There's that. Ablation, so no more periods. Does that remove your ovaries or something or whatever? Ablation. I never even heard that term. That's a cool one. After watching the last couple hundred of your videos, definitely looking into the Swolenormous X. Working from home all day, I've gotten super lazy. Well, look, those of you that are thinking about joining, there's literally no risk. You can do it at home. You know, there's more and more stuff that I'm adding that you can literally do at home with minimal equipment. If you have like some kind of like basic home gym, you can do all of it at home, especially when you do the yoga and the mobility stuff, the swollen sevens. You have some dumbbells and a bench. Some people have a full home gym, and I aspire to have a full home gym someday. And that'd be great for filming and for content and all that stuff. I just think about that aspect of it. But I like to get out of the house. I like to get out of the place and go to the gym, leave, disconnect a little bit, but it would make things a lot easier. But yeah, you know, when it comes to the portability and your ability to get shit done, it's about having community. It's about having people around you that are supporting you and to have like a flow and to know that when you're getting the information, you're getting shit that's legit. You're not just, you know, scraping YouTube and hoping that someone's not fucking lying to you to sell you a pill or a powder or some quick fix bullshit. So yeah, you could hit up the page or send a message on the site if you have any questions about X, but it's pretty self-explanatory. That's pretty fucking awesome if I might say so myself. Just had a great nutrition masterclass this morning, or not this morning, this afternoon. An ablation, is that how you pronounce it? Ablation removes the lining of the uterus. I still have my ovaries, so still have the cramps and the pain. Plus I have endometriosis. Damn, all these words, all these scientific terms that guys just don't ever have to think of. And this is not a men versus women thing. It's a respect thing. I don't know how I guess you don't have a choice. You have to deal with it. Just sounds like it fucking sucks. I could be legit barefoot in my own gym. I could be. That's true. This is true. And I totally would be. Look, with the Vibrams, it's pretty much barefoot. There's nothing, just a little bit. It's like 2 or 3 millimeters of rubber. It's pretty minimal. It costs more to pay for yoga classes than to join the Swole fam. Plus, you get so much more. I agree. Well, down in Florida, you go to a hot yoga class, $20 or $30 for a single class. Easily for one class. And usually you have to buy a package of 5 or 10 or 20. Yeah, it's expensive. And you have to go there and you have to sweat around a bunch of people and lay in like a puddle of other people's sweat and smell yoga farts and stuff and body odor. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not. I've been in good classes, I've been in some bad classes too. You got some horror stories. I've been going back through the 90-day dash in Swolenormous X barefoot, totally different. Oh, dude, when you do the balance exercise, when you do the stabilization exercises, it's totally different. It's totally different when you take off your foot coffins and all of a sudden now you're using your actual muscles. It's a different ball game. That's why I always talk about doing things barefoot. You're actually using the muscles you should be using. It's a game changer. It's completely different. Completely different. Well, to grow those stubborn muscles, if you're just catching this, you can replay it. We kind of got off track. We started talking about periods and we started talking about yoga more, but just want to touch upon growing stubborn muscles, bring that up in the conversation. And we, depending on the flow of this, because don't forget, let me get you up to speed. Sunday Fun Day Q&A, of course. So I do not know if I will be posting anything in advance. I think it'll just be another live Q&A. Live, so you have to show up live. I like that. You have to fucking earn it. You have to be here live. Why should I go through all these previous? You have to earn it. You want to ask your questions live? You got to be here live. So turn on your post notifications, and we'll do that Sunday, and that's going to be exciting. Super stoked for that. Remember, those of you that are in the Daily Swole Club, you'll get your notification where you can submit your questions for priority answering for the Daily Swole Sunday Funday Q&A on Sunday. And that's going to be what episode, what's today? Thursday, 8-9, episode 1080. And let's see. If you're a Swolenormous X member, the masterclass, the Elimination Diet Masterclass, is still on the Facebook page, and it's also uploaded to the top of your masterclass section in your account on the site. So you can access it now. If you happen to miss it earlier, it's going to be there forever. So you have access to that. That was fun. And some more updates coming on that, of course, for the masterclass next week, but also new things on Swole, like I mentioned earlier. And drum roll. Yeah, new YouTube video. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out the audio experience. New post yesterday on the audio experience. And more shit coming. Lots and lots and lots of things. All the things. All the things. All the things. So much fucking stuff. So much fucking stuff to do. So much stuff to do. So the moral of the story today is do yoga. Do yoga. Meredith, I was offended when I got a message from you asking if I still want notifications. Well, not everyone wants notifications. A bunch of people didn't. I wanted to look, because it's a special list. It's a special messaging list, and not everyone. Look, just because someone is part of the Daily Swole Club doesn't mean they want to get a notification. Sometimes they just want to support the show. Look, I turn off all my notifications. I turn off all notifications. That's why if you might message me, I don't get it necessarily right away, because I don't have any notifications on my phone, because otherwise my phone would never shut the fuck up. And I don't want all these alerts every time I open it. I want the most important things. I want to go and check the chat. I want to go and check the posts. And when I'm ready, I go and I look. Like, it's on my time, because my time is the most valuable asset that I have. And otherwise, I would just be on the phone all the time, just answering everything and talking to everything and just boom, 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 boom. And it just makes me very reactive. And you don't want to be a reactive person. So the notification list. So if you're a Daily Swole Club member, you'll get those notifications, and you have to, if you got that message, you could choose. You got the message already to opt in. So you had that choice. If you didn't, and you don't know, go check if you don't check Messenger anyway, you're not going to get the notification. So if you didn't get the last message about the live notifications, you won't. But that's for club members. Just because some people don't get their Facebook notifications fast enough. So I'm like, well, let me create the own thing where you get your notifications straight from Papa for club members. So if you're interested in joining the Daily Swole Club, you can check it out. It's a donation-based thing if you want to support the show and help keep this ad-free. That way I'm not running ads for jabronis, only talking about our stuff. You can check it out at swolenormousx.com. But if you were already on Messenger and you're already hooked into the page, you probably got a notification saying if you still want to get those notifications. So just check your Messenger and opt in if you wanted to opt in. About to crush some weights now. Sweet. Me too. Gonna go get some pump on. Oh, Aaron, heads up, Facebook reset all my notifications. Ugh, again? Just a reminder, if you need to change your notifications, you can edit that at the top of your page, probably in your settings. But if you go to the top of the Facebook page, my Facebook page, you can see, hey, prioritize this or notify me. But it doesn't always work. I can't manage to work out because I don't have time between school and my job. What can I do? Schedule time. Either you work out or you don't. That's a simple answer, man. Sorry, there's nothing more groundbreaking. What can I do? You can manage to work out. You could do yoga. You could do workouts at home. You don't need to go to a gym. You can do it in your room. You could do it outside. You could still work out. I've been in school and had a job and still trained. You can do it. You just have to schedule better. I mean, either you do schedule better and you do make it happen, or you don't and you don't work out. So that's simple answer. Priorities. Do it or don't. Nothing else but that, man. We all love the Swole in the ear hole. Yeah. Swole in the ear hole. Go make some sick fucking gains. Get out of here. Get out of here. Let's go do it. Thank you, everyone, for joining me for episode 1077 of the most muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gaincast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleevescast, Slaycast, in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex. We all flex our biceps. Thank you so much for joining me for 1077. See you tomorrow for 1078. Peace, McGee's fam. Deuce, Magoose. Your boy, Papa Swolio. Out.